The break room fell silent the moment I walked in, my colleagues' eyes darting away as if I were contagious. All because word had gotten out that I, Dr. Camilla Nguyen, had a girlfriend named Bianca. It wasn't the surgery schedule or a missed shift that caused this. It was the simple fact that my heart belonged to another woman. And in this prestigious New York hospital, that was enough to turn friends into strangers overnight. I set my coffee down on the empty end of the long table, the steam curling up like a question mark no one wanted to answer. Dr. Marcus Hale, the head of trauma, didn't even glance up from his tablet. Nurse Lena Torres, who used to share lunch with me every shift, suddenly remembered she had charts to file across the room. The isolation wasn't loud or violent. It was quiet, precise, and it sliced deeper than any scalpel I had ever held in the OR. I had known the risks when Bianca and I decided to stop hiding 6 months ago. We met 2 years earlier at a charity gala for LGBTQ+ health initiatives. She was a civil rights attorney fighting for hospital equality policies, sharp in her tailored suits and even sharper in her convictions. I was the rising star surgeon fresh off a fellowship, the one everyone said would make chief resident one day. Our first date was simple. Coffee in a quiet Brooklyn cafe, and by the third I realized I had never felt more seen. But coming out at St. Mary's Medical Center meant trading respect for whispers. My Vietnamese-American parents back in California had already made their stance clear in weekly calls. Camilla, we sacrificed everything for you to succeed. A husband would make things easier. Think of your future. Their voices carried the weight of immigrant dreams and unspoken shame, pressing on my chest like a ventilator set too high. That morning, the tension peaked when Dr. Elena Vargas, my supposed mentor, cornered me by the vending machine. Camilla, the team is concerned about your focus. Personal choices shouldn't affect patient care, but people talk. Her words were polite on the surface, laced with the kind of judgment that made my stomach twist. I wanted to scream that my orientation had nothing to do with the 12-hour shifts I pulled or the lives I saved, but the words stuck in my throat. Instead, I nodded, swallowed the anger, and walked away, feeling the eyes on my back like accusations. Inside, doubt gnawed at me. Was love worth this slow erosion of everything I had built? Bianca had texted me that morning. You are stronger than their fear. Come home to me tonight. Her words were my anchor. But anchors only work if you don't let the storm drag you under. By afternoon rounds, the isolation had spread like a virus. No one paired with me for consults. Charts were left on my desk without notes. I performed my usual duties with mechanical precision, but every decision felt heavier, every success hollow. The price was already mounting. Lost camaraderie, missed promotions hinted at in vague performance reviews, and the constant replay in my mind of my mother's disappointed sigh during our last video call. We didn't raise you to make life harder. Harder for whom? For me, or for the family image they clung to? I pushed through the day, scrubbing in for a routine appendectomy, my hands steady even as my thoughts raced. Little did I know the real test was hours away, a call that would force every fracture in my world into the light. As the shift dragged on, I retreated to the on-call room, staring at the ceiling tiles. Bianca's photo on my phone screen stared back, her smile radiant, her eyes promising the kind of future I had always wanted but never dared claim openly. The moral tug-of-war inside me intensified. Standing by her meant risking the career my parents had pinned their hopes on, the respect I had earned through sleepless nights and flawless outcomes. Hiding would mean betraying myself and the woman who loved me without conditions. Which choice was the right one when both carried such steep costs? I closed my eyes, willing the doubt away, but it lingered like the faint beep of a monitor in the distance. The hospital was my battlefield, and today the enemy wore familiar faces. The emergency page ripped through the quiet on-call room at 2:17 a.m., jolting me upright. Trauma incoming, multiple vehicle collision, pediatric patient critical. My exhaustion vanished as adrenaline surged. I raced to the ER, scrubbing in while the team assembled, but the usual pre-op banter was absent. Dr. Hale barked orders without looking at me. Nurse Torres handed me instruments with clipped efficiency, her silence louder than any complaint. The patient was 8-year-old Sophie, ejected from the back seat in a high-speed crash, internal bleeding, collapsed lung, and a shattered femur. Her vitals were crashing, and the parents were still en route, frantic on the phone. This was the kind of case that defined careers, or ended them. I took lead because no one else stepped up fast enough. "Scalpel," I said, voice steady despite the stares. The isolation amplified every movement. I could feel their judgment hanging over the table like an extra set of hands waiting to catch me in a mistake. But Sophie's small body demanded everything I had. I clamped the bleeder, repaired the lung laceration with precise sutures, and stabilized the fracture site while coordinating with ortho on the fly. Sweat beaded under my cap, and my mind flashed to Bianca waiting at home, probably pacing the living room with her phone in hand. She always knew when a big case hit. "Focus, Camilla," I whispered to myself. The moral weight pressed harder here. Could I really separate my personal life from this life or death moment when my colleagues clearly couldn't? Hours blurred. The surgery stretched to 4 grueling ones as complications arose. A hidden splenic rupture I caught just in time. My hands never wavered, even when Dr. Vargas muttered something about distractions under her breath during a suture handoff. I ignored it, channeling every ounce of training into Sophie. By 6:45 a.m., her vitals stabilized on the monitor. The room exhaled collectively, but the relief didn't extend to me. As we closed, the parents arrived, tearful, grateful, but the team dispersed quickly, leaving me to deliver the update alone. "She's going to make it," I told them, my voice cracking only slightly from fatigue. The mother hugged me fiercely, unaware of the storm brewing behind the doors. Back in the locker room, the isolation hit its peak. Lockers slammed shut around me. Conversations stopped when I entered. Dr. Hale finally spoke, his tone clipped. "Good work, Ngwen. But the board's watching closely these days. Personal matters have a way of complicating things." His words weren't a threat, but they landed like one. I thought of my parents' latest email. "Your sister is engaged to a fine doctor. When will you bring someone home we can be proud of?" The pressure built like a dam ready to burst. Bianca had texted during the surgery. "I believe in you. Whatever happens, we face it together." Her unwavering support contrasted sharply with the hospital's chill, forcing me to confront the trade-off. Was I willing to lose the career ladder for the woman who made every sacrifice feel worthwhile? That afternoon, whispers escalated into a direct confrontation. Nurse Lena pulled me aside in the corridor. "Camilla, I used to respect you. But it's affecting the whole unit. Some of us have families too. We can't afford scandals." Her betrayal stung because we had once been close. I fired back, voice low but fierce. "My relationship isn't a scandal. It's my life. If you can't separate the two, that's on you." She walked away shaking her head, leaving me alone with the echo of my words. Inside, the doubt roared louder. Every step forward in my career now felt like a step away from acceptance, at work, at home, even within myself. The price was mounting. Friendships fractured, promotions slipping, and a growing fear that love might cost me everything I had fought for. Yet Sophie's survival reminded me why I became a surgeon, to save lives, not to appease prejudice. As evening rounds began, fatigue mixed with resolve. I charted Sophie's progress meticulously, refusing to let the isolation slow me. But deep down, the inner conflict churned. Standing firm meant more confrontations, more family disappointment, more professional sidelining. Backing down meant erasing Bianca from my public life. A betrayal that would hollow me out. Which path demanded the greater courage? The hospital lights buzzed overhead like judgmental eyes, and I knew the real emergency wasn't over. The night after Sophie's surgery, the hospital buzzed with cautious celebration. Her parents praised the team publicly, but privately they thanked me specifically for the miracle in the OR. Still, my colleagues' nods were tight-lipped, their praise withheld. I sat in the cafeteria alone, fork pushing food around the plate, when my phone lit up with Bianca's call. "Baby, I heard about the kid. You did it. I'm so proud." Her voice was the warmth I craved, but I couldn't hide the strain. "They barely looked at me, Bianca. It's getting worse." She paused, then said firmly, "Then let me come. You shouldn't face this alone." I hesitated. Bringing her here would ignite everything, but the exhaustion won. "Okay. Tomorrow morning." Dawn brought the fallout. Bianca arrived at 7 a.m., dressed in her power suit, carrying coffee and that steady confidence that always grounded me. The lobby was crowded with shift change. Heads turned as she walked straight to me, pulling me into a hug that said everything words couldn't. You saved a life. They can't take that from you. Her touch was brief but electric, a rare public display we had avoided until now. That's when the team noticed. Dr. Hale froze mid-conversation. Nurse Torres dropped her clipboard. Dr. Vargas's face drained of color. The air thickened with shock. Before anyone could react, the chief of surgery called an impromptu debrief in the conference room. Sophie's case was a success story, media interest already stirring, and my role couldn't be ignored. But the real shift happened when Bianca followed me in, uninvited yet unapologetic. I'm Bianca Alvarez, Camilla's partner. I know the rumors. I also know she just pulled off a 4-hour miracle surgery under impossible pressure. Her words landed like a gavel. The room went dead silent. Colleagues who had shunned me for weeks now shifted uncomfortably, eyes dropping to the table. Dr. Hale cleared his throat. We appreciate the outcome. Personal lives are personal. But his tone had changed, respect edged with reluctance. The confrontation escalated when Dr. Vargas spoke up. Dr. Nguyen, this is a professional environment. Parading relationships. Bianca cut her off smoothly. Parading? Or simply existing? Your discomfort doesn't erase her skill. I stood there, heart pounding, the moral line drawn clear. This moment forced every buried doubt to surface. Was exposing our love worth the backlash it would bring? My parents would hear soon. Gossip traveled fast in our community, and the fallout could sever ties forever. Yet seeing my team's forced deference, the way they murmured apologies under their breath, felt like a crack in the wall of prejudice. Later, alone with Bianca in a quiet stairwell, I let the tears come. They bowed their heads today because of you, because they couldn't deny the truth anymore. But it cost me so much already. She wiped my cheeks, her touch gentle. No, Camilla. Cost them their ignorance. You paid in silence for too long. Her words ignited something new inside me. A fierce awakening. The isolation had nearly broken me. But this victory, small as it was, proved love wasn't the weakness they claimed. Still, the price lingered. A pending review board meeting, family messages blowing up my phone, and the knowledge that one successful surgery didn't erase years of bias. As we left the hospital hand in hand, colleagues watched from windows. Some looked ashamed, others defiant. I realized then the real battle had just begun, the internal one between the woman I was raised to be and the one I chose to become. Bianca squeezed my hand. Whatever comes next, we choose together. The decision felt right in that moment, but the consequences waited like a storm on the horizon. The media picked up Sophie's story by midday, headlines praising Dr. Camilla Nguyen's heroic save. Suddenly, the same colleagues who had isolated me now hovered awkwardly, offering half-hearted congratulations. Hell of a job, Camilla, Dr. Hale said in the hall, avoiding Bianca's name entirely. But the shift felt hollow. I knew their change of heart stemmed from optics, not genuine acceptance. Bianca stayed nearby, her presence a quiet shield. Yet it amplified the tension. Whispers returned, darker now. She's using the girlfriend for sympathy. The betrayal cut deeper because it came from people I once trusted. That evening, my parents called from California. My mother's voice trembled with fury. Camilla, we saw the news. And then, pictures of you with that woman at the hospital. How could you humiliate us like this? My father's silence spoke volumes. The family pressure I had dodged for months crashed down full force. We built this life for you, education, career. A family like ours doesn't need this kind of attention. Their words echoed every sacrifice they had made immigrating, every expectation I had internalized. I hung up shaking, the moral dilemma sharper than ever. Was my happiness worth fracturing the only family I had? Bianca held me as I cried. They love you in their way. But you don't owe them your identity. The next day brought direct confrontation. Dr. Vargas pulled me into her office, door closed. The board is reviewing promotions. Your situation is raising flags. We value diversity, but optics matter. Her veiled threat hung heavy. I countered. My performance speaks for itself. Sophie's case proves it. She leaned back. Performance, yes. But team cohesion? That's slipping. The accusation stung because it was half true. The isolation had started with me, but prejudice had fueled it. Inside, the conflict raged. Conform for the promotion I had earned, or stand with Bianca and risk it all. Bianca waited outside, her face calm but eyes fierce. They bowed once. They'll do it again if we force the issue. We decided together to attend the hospital's equity meeting uninvited. There I spoke publicly for the first time. I saved a child's life while facing discrimination from my own team. If that's not professionalism, what is? The room shifted. Several colleagues nodded reluctantly. Dr. Hale even apologized quietly afterward. I was wrong to let rumors affect my judgment. But not everyone yielded. Nurse Torres avoided me still. Her betrayal rooted in her own conservative upbringing. That night, Bianca and I talked for hours in our apartment. The price keeps rising, I admitted. Family, career, friends. I'm losing pieces of each. She traced my hand. But you're gaining yourself. That's the awakening they can't take. Her words sparked hope, yet doubt lingered. The moral choice wasn't black and white. Hiding would have preserved peace, but at what cost to my soul? Standing openly invited pain, but it also invited authenticity. As sleep finally claimed me, I realized the real test wasn't the surgery. It was whether I could live with the trade-offs long-term. Promotion announcements came the following week. My name appeared on the shortlist for chief resident, but with a caveat: pending team feedback. The isolation had evolved into subtle sabotage. Charts went missing. Schedules shifted without notice. Dr. Vargas's influence showed in every delay. Bianca urged me to fight. Document everything. This isn't just prejudice. It's retaliation. Her legal mind kicked in, drafting emails and gathering statements. The drama intensified when my sister flew in from California, sent by our parents. Camilla, Mom's heartbroken. End this before it destroys us all. Her plea carried the weight of shared history, forcing another inner reckoning. Was love selfish if it hurt everyone else? The breaking point arrived during a joint case with Dr. Hale. Mid-procedure, a minor error nearly occurred. Not mine, but his distraction from the tension. I corrected it seamlessly, saving the patient again. Post-op, he cornered me. "Ngwin, your girlfriend's visits are disrupting the unit." We bowed once for the kid, but enough. His words exposed the lingering resentment. I stood firm. My personal life didn't cause that near miss. Your bias did. The confrontation spilled into the hallway, voices rising. Colleagues gathered, some siding quietly with me for the first time. Bianca arrived on cue, having anticipated the escalation. Her calm presence turned heads again, forcing even Dr. Hale to mutter an apology. Family pressure peaked that same night. My parents arrived unannounced, faces etched with disappointment. "We raised you better," my mother said, glancing at Bianca with barely concealed disdain. The living room became a battlefield of tears and accusations. "This choice will cost you everything. Your career, your heritage." Bianca stayed silent but supportive, her hand in mine the only anchor. I defended us fiercely. "My heritage includes the right to love who I choose. If that's not enough for you, I can't change that." The exchange left scars. My father walked out without a word, my mother sobbing. The moral dilemma crystallized. Family loyalty versus self-truth. Both demanded sacrifice, but only one felt honest. Awakening came slowly. Reviewing my documented incidents with Bianca, I saw the pattern clearly. Prejudice wasn't abstract. It was daily micro-betrayals costing me sleep, confidence, and opportunities. Yet Sophie's survival and the small shifts in colleagues' attitudes proved change was possible. The price had been high, fractured family ties, stalled promotion, but the cost of hiding would have been higher. A life half-lived. Bianca kissed my forehead. "You're free now, whether they accept it or not." The board meeting sealed the arc. My promotion came through, not without debate, but the written apologies from key colleagues, prompted by Bianca's quiet advocacy and the hospital's fear of bad press, marked a turning point. Dr. Vargas resigned her informal mentoring role, citing philosophical differences. Nurse Torres transferred units, her final words to me laced with reluctant respect. "You fought harder than I expected." The team dynamic thawed slowly. Some even invited me to after-work gatherings, though Bianca's name stayed unspoken. At home, the family rift lingered. My parents sent a single text. "We need time." It hurt, but it also freed me. Bianca and I celebrated quietly. Dinner on the rooftop, city lights below mirroring the hope ahead. "We paid dearly," I told her. "But look what we gained." The inner conflict had resolved into clarity. Love wasn't the easier path, but it was mine. The betrayals, the isolation, the moral tightrope walks had forged a stronger version of myself, one unafraid to stand openly. Yet as I reflected on the long road from whispered judgment to forced respect, one truth remained undeniable. Every decision carried irreversible costs: lost friendships, strained family bonds, professional scars. I had chosen authenticity over approval, and while Sophie's life and my career survived, the emotional toll echoed daily. In the quiet moments, I still wondered about the alternate path. The hidden relationship, the smoother promotions, the intact family dinners. Was standing by my love the right decision, or did the pain it caused prove I should have chosen silence instead?